Good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. Hey, it's Dadman Walking 55 coming to you from 1 minute after 5 on the East Coast of the good old USA. Here for another Chilling With episode. Hey, the first time we had with this guest today was so damn wonderful and long, we still couldn't fit everything in. So we brought him back to finish up the collections today. So, hey, remember also, folks, and I will bring this thing up here as a normal disclaimer that these images are only for informational purposes and discussion. Not that it's intended to promote the sale or purchase of any items to anyone, especially those under the age of 18 or minors. So, hey, you see it at the bottom. So make sure you know that. But I will self-promote here for a second, and I will change it to this. Thank you for everybody that have been part of the drive to over 400. We're at 430 subs today. Make sure on the Twitter side, the YouTube side, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like the video today, comment, share it out with people, share the stream out with others. Let's bring some people in today because Pat's got a lot of great stuff and a lot of stuff that we're going to show here and discuss. So, be with us. So, hey, folks, we come off of a show last night. Got prodded by the great Hungry Boy. We went live at about 2:30 in the morning, went all the way till after 6. So, hey, I saw the sun come up this morning. So, all righty, folks. Like I said, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't. And without further ado, we will go ahead and bring this guy in. This guy is like the producer of producers. He's like something everywhere. He where you see streams and channels, this guy does pop up quite a bit. He's like the backroom broker of a lot of YouTube channels and promoting people and everything else and getting people in contact. But hey, he's a great guy. Good to hang out. Great knowledge on a lot of topics. So, folks, let me bring in the great Pat S. Pat, how are you today?
Doing good, buddy. Hey, while I was in the back room, I got a text from my nephew who is in hotel restaurant management, which is actually a degree you can get in New Orleans. And he just informed me that he got hired. He was on the short list. He got hired as a guest relations person for the Superdome.
Oh, wow.
And the arena, dude. So he will be working Saints games and Pelicans games and probably the Garth Brooks concert. So that's going to be on him. But he's pretty excited, dude. That's a pretty cherry gig to get. The money's not bad for a little part-time gig, but the experience, dude, will be pretty amazing. So
especially at that stage of your career, a lot of times it's not about the money. It's the experience to open the doors for down the road.
Absolutely. And their first preseason game is a week from today. So he's got to go in. He's got to go in Monday to do all of his IDs and his orientation and stuff. So
I will tell you, and I tell you, like Clive and I hit the Pro Football Hall of Fame on Friday night. So go back, folks, and watch that stream. It was a wonderful stream. So yeah, I'm in the New Orleans Superdome. Oh yeah, that's congratulations though. Hey, good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Great opportunity.
So how you been, dude?
I've been busy. Work. I got to crank stuff out at work for the next 2 months, getting football ready to roll back at end of the season, getting my guests lined up, but I got to start doing the research. We got to reconstruct graphics from last year because apparently we didn't save it. So for one of our shows, so that's going to be, like I said, I've been saying people, I'm probably going to do a little more of the gaming type stuff. I want to get into history with the battlefields, but I need to do it when I have more time to plan. But it'll probably be more gaming and impromptu type chill streams for a while, which tend to be some of the best ones we've got. Like I said, Hungry Boy said do it last night, and it was like a little after 2 o'clock in the morning. We went live till after 6, and it's Eastern, that is, and had a great chat, had a great turnout in it, and then the last couple chill streams, or the last detour I did with the missus, we've had a lot of people watching, great involvement of people. So it's keeping me busy. So, but I might have to slow down a little bit and just reallocate resources for a little bit entering football, which, is one of my passions.
Absolutely. You saying that, there reminds me, I have to get a hold of, I think I'm going to call you. Are you familiar with Rambling Canuck?
Oh, yes. I just actually was playing Fortnite with him a few minutes ago.
Oh, okay. Well, good. He's a great guy, dude. I have got to call him and remind him. I think I promised him last year that I would do the Katrina stream with him. I really only don't want to do it with like one or two people because it takes a lot out of me. It's pretty
Mhm.
emotional. It's not fun. It's like, hey, let's talk about your dad's funeral for an hour. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a lot of
No, I
fun.
got you.
But
I
Canuck
got
is
you.
such a good guy, and he's
Oh heck
so
yeah.
respectful of that history, man.
He
Um,
he loves his history. He knows his history
yeah,
too.
that I think I
Exactly.
promised him last year that I give him at least first dibs on it. So I gotta get
Yeah.
a hold of him. So I'm
All
glad you
right.
said that to me. You reminded me. So we got
No,
anybody we got to say hello to in the chat,
yeah,
sir?
we will. I just want to say real quick, if I talk to him next, I'll make sure to let him know, remind him. So,
Yeah, let him know.
but
But
yeah,
I'll DM
he's a
him.
great.
I'll DM him. I'll
Yeah,
let him
he's
know.
a great
But
guy. I like hanging out with him, and
sure.
it's fun. He actually was the impetus of us doing the XFL football show. He gave us that idea, and so we did it.
I hear you.
Yeah. Well, let's say hello to some great people that are here already. We got 5 people watching. If you're on the Twitch side, follow us. If you're on the YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe it to the channel if you have it. But we got Gap After Dark coming in, saying hello to Pat. Hello, all. Maddie's daddy. Hey, Steve. Good to see you today. And we've got After Dark 2019. Good to see you today. Glad you are with us. So, um, always a pleasure to have all of you guys here with us. Like I said earlier, Pat, this is come encore performance because the last time 3 or 3.5 hours was not enough with the stuff that we went through. So we got some great stuff tonight that we're going to start with to go through. And we'll see probably about 90 minutes and stuff today. And we'll see how long we go, but we'll have some fun. If you have questions, comments, impressions, leave them out in the chat with us. Talk with us about uh, whatever you see. If anything, bring back memories. If you're on the Twitch side, by all means, put it out on the Twitch side because I can bring up the comment and like I do on the YouTube side, so everybody can see it on the stream. All right. So with that, Pat, um, let us go ahead and get started with this.
Yeah. Do you remember what we did and didn't cover last time? Because I was just thinking about
I
it.
There's some characters we didn't cover, and
Okay.
there were the machine video games, arcade
Ah,
games.
gotcha. Okay.
That was the big thing that we ran out of time because I'd marked our stopping point, and so that's why I just basically had a couple of leftover slides. One might be a repeat, but a couple that we have, and then that I know we didn't get to, and then the last few that you just sent yesterday. So we'll see. And let's go ahead and get started. Well, let's see. Gap. Hey, thank you. Yeah, soon 500. We'll see. Is anything like last Sunday night? Yeah, that was a trip. That's Sunday night and the Monday with the missus. They were like, oh, that was a great night. I will say, not just because of numbers, but because the chat was on fire. We had a lot of people really with us and having fun with us, and that's what we're here for, is to have some fun with this and take a look at different things. So now my banner at the bottom, I'm going to be um, repeat this again, that any images shown or discussed are only for informational discussion purposes. Nothing is intended to promote the sale or purchase of any items to anyone, especially those under the age of 18. Basically, we're here having fun. We're not selling shit. Okay? That's for the benevolent overlords. So, although that probably won't help, who knows? But oh
There
well.
you go. Yeah, and any kids get lost. This isn't for you. Even though my
Yeah,
stuff is very PG, I don't think I
yeah,
have anything that
yeah.
doesn't fall.
No, the whole thing is the way they make this whole system is like you really have to. They make it where it's not fair because see, some of this stuff is for that everybody could enjoy, but I guess there's all kinds of lawyer stuff and all that's happened historically that's called it crazy. So yeah, that was insane last week. And hey, Sniper the Duck, hey, good to see you, waving the pink hand. And B from O, hello, good to see you. Good to see you tonight. All right. Well, let's go here. What do we have here? I mean, first of all, well, we know what we have in terms of the comics in the back, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that Splinter, right?
Yeah, that's Splinter. That's an original Splinter from the late '80s. From the late '80s original.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's really cool, especially the age. You can tell that it has some age on it. I think that's really neat because that they look well made. I mean, they definitely don't look like cheap plastic like a lot of the stuff that they have these days. But
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look, those turtles, of course they fell down, As I had my nephew taking the pictures because they were like, we have a room that's like set up with all the stuff in it. And of course, he knocked into it and knocked it down. He sent me that picture, and I'm like, I want everybody to be able to see the pictures of them standing up. But that's actually the original ones, dude. Those are the soft heads. There is a difference. Those of you who maybe have collected Ninja Turtles in the past, you might know, like, the original releases, the heads are actually soft. They're like mushy, like almost like a squeak toy. And the newer ones, I say the newer ones, the ones that were released like the second time and all that, those were actually like a little bit stiffer. They were made out of the same hard plastic. So
we're collecting a lot of different things tonight, B from O. So some characters. I can't wait to get to those video games though. Personally,
yeah, they're on the turtle van. One of the newer things that we're trying to get a hold of now, that we think we have a guy that wants to sell this, is the van. That's the show van or whatever they call it, the turtle battle wagon or whatever, the party wagon. That's it, the party wagon. They actually, and you know, sometimes with 80 toys, you might have heard this before, Deadman. They actually just repurpose the toys. Sometimes they repurpose it for a whole other different, toy line. But in this case, they actually made one that's a news van, and they're not really easy to find. So we found a guy that has a complete one, and he wants to trade some Dino Riders for it. And we're not really collecting the Dino Riders anymore, so we're like, hey man, let's swap these Dino Riders out for that van. You know, it's a good deal.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'm a little more.
Is it really? Is it interesting? That was actually very polite of you. If you're not a turtle guy, it probably isn't. But, dude, there's a lot. I will say this: if you were, there's a lot of Ninja Turtle stuff out there. I don't know if you could be a completist with Ninja Turtles. Maybe if you collected the original series stuff, you could probably do that. But even that, you're talking hundreds of action figures. You know, and certain mail order, I mean, it'd be really tough, and every weapon and everything, that it would not be easy.
No, it makes sense. You know, I do find stuff like this interesting. That's why I've done a lot of these chill chat type things, because I'm getting people that from different backgrounds, different avenues. See, you know, like, not that I'm into everything, you know, every different franchise, but hearing the history, hearing the behind the scenes stories and stuff like that, that is something that intrigues me, and I like to know, and I think other people like to learn from it. So now B says, for original Ninja Turtles, yes, had those as a kid in the 80s.
Yep, absolutely. I think 87 was the first year they came out, and they were rocking and rolling by 88 for sure, because I remember going and buying some at our local Kmart. Walking down there and getting them. Now, I don't think I was even driving at that point yet.
Let me ask you a question though here with this. Okay. Because we got time to kick the tires on some of the stuff. On the comic in the back. Oh shoot! Sorry. Let me see if I can get it out there. Okay, it's in a container, universal grade. It's got that, and this is 9.8. What does that mean?
Okay, when you send, there's a couple different places that actually grade.
And hi to Mr. Angel. Let me say hi to Mr. Angel real quick. Hey, sir. Yes. Okay, so what? I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a couple places. I think most of ours are CVI. I'm not sure. I'd have to go look at them. We only have about 35 of them. We don't have a ton of them. But you send them in and you get them graded. And what they do is they look at them and they say, how close to this is mint perfect? And here's the weird thing. You can almost get something off the press. You could be at the print house and pick it up, and it might not be perfect, dude. If it was bent differently, or if it, you know, the coloration on it was wrong or something like that. But 99.8 is pretty high. It's pretty high. You don't get too much higher than that. To get a perfect one, it's not really easy to do. And I don't think they like to certify ones that are much higher than that on any kind of a regular basis, because it kind of diminishes, you know, there are people who like it. There are people who don't like it. In a way, it's a weird kind of silly business, because it's an opinion of a person who's saying, or a group of people in some cases, who are saying like, okay, this is what this is. It has nothing to do with value, believe it or not. Though, let's be honest here. No. If you're on eBay and I'm selling a 9.8 versus a 7.2, there's a good chance that if you're a real high end collector and you want to, or even a serious collector, you might want to pay 10, 15, depends on what it is, $100, $1,000 more for something that's ranked in the nines than you would something that's low. I'll be honest with you. I love the Ninja Turtles. I read the comics when I was younger. I can't say I read them as a kid because that's not true. I didn't really know about it until the TV show came out. But I will tell you this: I probably like the older Daredevil I have, and I have an old X-Man comic that probably mean a little bit more to me. That's graded in slab. We call that slab. Graded in slab than those comics do. They're a little bit newer. I think the oldest Ninja Turtle comic we have is from the '90s, but they're still cool. They're still collectible, and I think it was Pops I was talking to about them one time. They just
Mhm.
look cool. It's a great way to display them, right? Because if you have something bagged and boarded, do you know what that means, Devin? I don't know how into
What
comics
was
you
the
are.
first word? There's something in boarded. Boarded is where you
Bagged,
put bag.
bagged, and
Okay,
boarded.
that's where you put a board in it
Yeah,
to on it
behind it,
and
correct.
behind it, and then you put it in a bag and seal it off to protect it.
You can to a certain degree. You can seal
Okay.
it. Most people just use a nice piece of Scotch tape, and that's because you want to be able to take it out and look at it and everything and all
Okay.
that. Those you always want to be a little bit careful how you display them because they can fall off, they can get bent, even with the board in it. Somebody could walk along and open it and take it out that you don't want to do it. Like if you have people at your house, and I've actually seen someone do that before. The nice thing about once you get it slabbed,
Hmm.
you really can't. You can open it, but if you do, you're pretty much negating. You know what I mean? The
Hmm.
fact that it's been graded and everything because they put it in a. It's something that you can't tamper with because if you do, then it has to be regraded because someone would if you just had it where you could open it and take it out. For one thing, it would degrade over time the more you took it out and handled it. But also, there's some, not some great people who would probably take out a 9.8 and slip in a
Hmm.
9.2 in there, or even try to put a 8.5 in there, something like that. So that's what's good about it. It says what the condition is, and it's weird because it has no value, but yet it really does, right? I mean, if you go on eBay, you can see the difference ones that have
Okay.
been graded and not. So
Yeah.
like I said, some comic book people love them. Some, you talk to a guy like 24/7 who is he's about as serious of a comic book guy as you're going to meet. If he finds one, he likes it. It's a good price. It's a bargain.
Hmm.
He'll buy it, but he's not out hunting for it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It just the thickness of the characters really get me. That's really cool. Here's another one. We got some more of them, and oh, now is that just like a poster? Is that artwork, or is that actually a
No,
comic?
sir. That's another one of the Originally, the Ninja Turtle comics were dude, they were almost like an underground, indie kind of comic and all that. So a lot of the first Ninja Turtle comics were in black and white. So that's what you're looking at. You're looking at a black and white cover
Hmm.
of a Ninja Turtle comic right there.
Wow, that
Yep.
is crazy. That is awesome. But hey, what about the characters in front? I know we got one of the turtles there, but are these just like
Yeah,
random
that's wrapped.
characters?
He's in some kind of a vehicle from there. I believe Michelangelo and his surf gear. Um, Trying to remember what some of these guys' names are. Honestly, man, I haven't seen. I think it's Mana. Mana Ray is the green guy, kind of in the middle of them. That kind of looks
This one right
fish-like.
here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm trying to think. What was the robot's name?
Yeah.
That's
I
the one that's right there, and then the Triceratops guy, um, and Ace Duck. I think is the
it's
duck name. Yeah.
reminds me kind of the bouncing duck in the original Toy Story movie. But let me so. Oh gosh, stunning! Hey, stunning! Ralph would look like a pimp. That's too funny. And hello, stunning, and hello to the Peter Venkman fan site.
Oh, hey Peter
Good to have
Venkman.
you
That's my
on today.
that's my wrench buddy on Saturday mornings. We had this
Wonderful,
Saturday off. Brandon had something going on, so
wonderful. We'll sit back and enjoy the show. And like I said, to everybody else, good to see everybody in here. I've seen new names lately. I've been seeing a lot of new names, and I'm sure I think he's been here before. But if you have, great, thanks for coming back. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe to the channel. But everybody hit that like button. Let's destroy that algorithm and all that crap. And who knows? We'll be 500 before you know it.
Absolutely. But yeah,
Exactly.
the Ninja Turtle collection's pretty extensive. I'd say probably about 300 figures now. We go all the way to the newer Nickelodeon one from the
And hello,
2010.
Mrs. Hello, the
Yes.
Mrs. Gotta
Hello, ma'am.
recognize her. The one that keeps me on the air definitely has done it several times. So, well,
And yeah, and
okay.
probably about 25 vehicles of different sorts. Maybe even a little bit more if you count all the little ones, because
Mm-hmm.
they have some really small vehicles, right? They got
Yeah.
like, yeah.
All right. Well, let's see here. We got more turtles again. I know Stunning, I believe, is a big turtle fan. So, of course, his comment out there.
There's
Turtle,
Rack
because he
King.
said turtle power earlier. So, what was it? Ninjas in a half shell?
Heroes in a Half Shell.
Heroes in a half shell. All right. Thank you. All right. But yeah, I knew there was a phrase in there. But yeah, this is again a 9.8. I always like taking a look at these old comics for one thing. Guess what that would be?
What's that? How much they cost back then?
Yes, exactly. Now $3.99 is a lot. I'm still got comics around here from the 70s that were like 50 cents or stuff like
Well,
that.
right. You have to understand that one's probably not that terribly old. For one thing, it's probably like
Mm-hmm.
20, 25 years old.
Right.
But another thing too, dude, and a guy like Clobby or Pops or 20.
Hey, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. That you
Or more.
bounced out
Yeah.
a
Sorry.
little bit there.
I was gonna say could tell you a little bit more about that, but the truth of the matter is that you went from comics basically being on a little bit higher grade newsprint, and just a glossy cover, to having every page glossy and in color. So that's a big difference. That's why, because I'll be honest with you, like if you do, remember when Clobby used to do, I love this show, but it was like me and four other people watching. Like you said, it just wasn't worth the time investment. But do you remember when he used to do Spinner Rack, the TV show, his stream? He did it like once a month or once every couple of weeks, and he'd go to like 1977, and you would do the conversion. That website where you can go into like how much was 30 cents worth, and what was
Mm-hmm.
a dollar worth in 1971 compared to today? And even before inflation, so let's say a couple years ago, you would look and you'd do like a 30-cent comic was worth $1.79. It wasn't worth like $3.99. You go, that's odd. You would think that, so wait, if we were making these today, we'd be selling them for $1.70 each.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer to that is well, probably no, because there was a much, much, much larger pool of comics to pick from. Two is they were producing a lot more. So you and I both know, right? If you say I'm going to go get some Dad Man T-shirts made, per T-shirt, are you going to pay more or less if you're doing 5 shirts versus 300 shirts? And the answer, of course, is your per price for 300 shirts is going to be much lower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're paying more money because you're getting 300 shirts done,
Right. But the
and I think that's
yeah.
that's a big part of it. And back then too, dude, that it was a real secure audience that you had in comic books. And you might not think of this, but it is true. There were a lot of advertising sold on those comic books, man.
Oh, I remember in the 70s, you had the back page. I loved the Army Men, the Revolutionary War. You had the spy cameras all throughout the magazine, the comics. I mean, all kinds of stuff they were selling. It was really, like you said, there were ads in these things. So
I think at one time, and if somebody knows the actual numbers, but I think I read it one time, that at maybe the 82, 83 point of their advertising, Sega was spending like 15% of their advertising dollar in comic books. That's crazy. They were probably spending like 25, 30% on television. So think about that for a minute. 15% on comics? That's incredible, dude. But if you
that's
have
a lot of advertising on anything.
but think about it, gang. If you have an 80s comic laying around somewhere, open it up. I'd almost promise you'd probably find a Nintendo ad, maybe an Atari ad, depending on how old it is.
Yeah.
a Sega Genesis ad, an Activision ad selling their game or something like that, I
Yeah.
promise you'd probably see it on the front or back inside cover.
Well, let
Almost
me
a
ask you this
guarantee.
question that this comment Gap After Dark has. It missed the
Sure.
old style way of how they produce comics with the newspaper grade. What? Okay, I don't understand that. What does that mean? Is it the type of paper or is it the printing?
Yeah,
And
yeah. Think about it. Yeah.
what's the difference? Does it look better? Does it look worse compared to another style? I mean, help me understand
Well,
that a little bit
you have some of those older comics, dude.
better.
Feeling it's. I mean, a newer comics, you're gonna have a much finer vellum, right? It's gonna be thicker. It's gonna be a heavier grade. It's gonna hold the color inks more because they have all these things printed on these glossy pages and everything. When you're looking at that, David, the best thing for me to tell you is the best comparison I have, which I'm sure anybody in here under 30, over 30 years old, not under 30, over 30 years old would remember. Do you remember the color funnies in the newspaper?
On
You pull them out,
Sunday
you'd read the
Sunday
dude.
mornings, yeah.
Yeah, that was the same printing process. I think a comic book might have had, if I remember reading this right, that a comic book had like one step above that. So maybe that was the same print that they would do, like a little bit higher than newspaper. Like maybe they would do it in. Do you remember the like News on Wheels books and stuff like that, where you go and find used cars to buy and stuff like that and all that? It was like a little bit of a step above that.
Mm.
So it was super cheap. The paper was, and it was a certain process that they did that they had pretty much down to a science. And they used probably a much smaller palette of colors. Where a modern comic might have 65 different colors on that page, maybe more than that. I don't know. I don't know that much about new comics, but an old comic might only have 12, 24 colors in it.
Yep.
So.
Well, okay. Well, I'm curious. I was curious about that. So, and also Peter Venkman fan site said, remember back in the late '80s, early '90s, the favorite store usually had Star Wars in the penny box. So the penny box and maybe sea monkeys. What is the penny box?
The penny box? I
Yeah.
maybe that's what in Peter Venkman's town she had she had a penny saver kind of magazine. I guess we called it a penny saver here in New Orleans.
Ah.
So maybe that's what she means, and they advertised in that. Or maybe it was one of those things like if you send it in now, you get it for a penny.
Mm.
Kind of like Columbia Records and Tapes.
Oh, there you go. Oh gosh, imagine they remember those. Oh, everybody, welcome to the club. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
that.
Dead Man. If you ever do,
Ed McMahon with his Publishers Clearinghouse. Yeah.
yeah, if you ever do a stream on petty crime, and they're in your teenage years, you can invite me on for that because I actually had this thing where I was going around and when a house would get empty in my neighborhood, I would order 12 tapes to that house. And I would put it in a different name, but I would put a name very close to mine, so it might be like Patricia Schmidt. It might come in, and that way, if anybody ever saw me or said, I would be like, "Oh, I guess he delivered it to the wrong place." I'm Patrick Smith, not Schmidt, but I guess they spelled it wrong. But I never got caught. Nobody ever questioned why I was going up to the. And we laugh about that now, but when you think of it, dude, that was like a pretty serious crime. Right? I was basically committing mail fraud at like 14 years old.
You're not supposed to say that. Well, I guess that one has a statute of limitations, but
I was going to say I don't think they're going to come after me for that.
But Mr. Angel said cheap paper was very acidic, pH value, and combo UV light is killer for that stuff. It crumbles.
Yep.
Exactly. All
yep.
Right.
That's why it's so hard. I mean, you're probably not going to find an Action Comics from 65 years ago that's going to be, a 9.9. That'd be pretty tough. Somebody would have had to, hermetically sealed it into something. Oh, there's our Dino Riders that we're gonna that we're probably gonna trade some of. We're not trading all those Dino Riders for that, but we've got about 4 or 5 different things. I don't know if you remember this or not, Dave, man. That would be you were probably moving out of toy phase and watching sports and stuff like that. Dino Riders were pretty much late 80s, my friend.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't remember that show. There's one that B from O asked. I'm going to come back to that a little bit later. Well, I don't know. We can do it right now here.
Go ahead, whatever you want.
B from O said, I don't know about your guess, but I don't really see anything in the last 15 years or so like these things that will be considered collectible in 20, 30 years. So, in terms of the modern collectibles, is there much out there that could be movie friend? I mean, we know every movie brings something out, but like that old Star Wars, or is the stuff that, if anything, has value. But do you see anything out there of more modern toys? Not just toys, but everything. What it could be that could have value, like the old collections.
Not much. Not much. Now, I will say this. I think there's things that are going to hold their value and be worth more, but I
Hmm.
want you to think probably, and I wonder if people out there would agree with me. I think you're probably what you're looking at is certain name brands, right? Like a NECA special release or something like that. But no, I think they're right. I think we know for a fact that, like, is there a certain toy line?
Hmm.
Uh, yeah,
Okay.
probably not. Probably not. Maybe. I mean, here's an interesting thing. If you look up, now, granted, these are not that old, but they're also not in the last 10 or 15 years. But like, if you look up Ninja Turtles Fast Forward, Ninja Turtles Fast Forward was like in the mid to early
Hmm.
2000s. There was a new four kids Ninja Turtle show, and they did like four really good seasons, and then they were like, "We got to do new toys. We got to have a new toy." So they said, "Well, we're going to do a season, and we're going to call it Fast Forward. Then we're going to do another season where, because the turtles went like 100 years in the future, then we're going to have them come back 100 years back to modern times, and it's going to be called Back to the Sewers." Well, if you
Hmm.
look at the Fast Forward action figures from that show, and this is like 2005, 2006. Dude, those things are really expensive. I mean, you could buy 88 Ninja Turtle stuff much cheaper than that. They weren't mass produced. They weren't. So I think it's something's kind of like, a bit of I don't want to say a gimmick, but maybe that's a little bit different. Another great example, but there again, it's based off of an old TV show,
Hmm.
is they released some Thunder the Barbarian. I don't think I sent you this action figures. And man, those things came out like 5 or 6 years ago, and they were like $30 a piece, which even back then were kind of like, that's a lot of money.
Hmm.
Dude, those things open now. Forget closed. Those things
Right.
open sell for 100, $150 a piece now. But is there something that's coming out now or coming out lately that's TV shows? Um, I'm gonna
Well,
have to say no,
yeah.
because they don't do a lot of toy lines based on TV shows
No.
anymore.
Well, I mean, I think in general, though, not necessarily just toy TV shows, but it could be movies and or anything else. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, you look at how many movies come out or other products, and you see the toy. I'm always seeing the well stocked shelves. I mean, even the Pokemon stuff doesn't necessarily sell that quickly, but I think like Pokemon is a victim of too much stuff out there. What makes the old stuff so valuable is that there's so little of it. Back then, they didn't produce the amounts that they do nowadays, and so it's rarer to find, which definitely helps increase the
Yeah,
value.
I mean, dude, you're not wrong. I mean, I don't know about you, but like when I'm in Walmart or when I used to go to Target and stuff like that,
Hmm.
I'd wheel past the toy stuff, and I was A, not impressed, and B, I was like, B, there's a lot less toys. A lot of what they sell now are for older people. I think part of it is a
Hmm.
lot kids don't toys are very different now than they were
And video
20,
games,
30 years ago.
the
Yeah.
advent of video games have been a threat to both comics and collecting. This at the younger age, because a lot of the newer generation is going for the electronics, the ease, you
Absolutely.
know, and it just versus reading a book or anything else like that. So,
I will tell you
uh,
this: if you wanted to not go wrong with toys and you wanted to buy new toys and save them that are worth money, your
mhm,
best bet, without a doubt, I think hands down would be buying Lego stuff.
yeah,
Try to get it where it's very specific. I mean, when you look at stuff like even ninja, like what was it, Ninjago or something like that, that was not
yeah,
that long ago. That stuff's worth exponentially more. Whenever they do something that's old school Star Wars, buy
hmm,
that. That's worth exponentially more than it was before. Even the prequels. You can't really go wrong with Lego. And if they do something special, like the boys got about 2 or 3 years ago, there was a Nintendo television with an NES setup that you built with Legos, and you put that together. That thing is worth 3 times what they paid for it now.
Well,
If it was in a box, it'd be worth even more than that. Yeah.
well, speaking of boxes, Peter Vinkman Fansite says the penny box was basically where you could get a lot of the older, varying quality books. They were always cheaper than back issues, anywhere from a penny to $2.
Wow.
So,
You're going back. Yeah. I remember, and Clobby's talked about this guy before. We would actually sneak and take the bus because my mother would have freaked out. My cousins, this is with my cousin and with my friend Chris. We would actually hop on an RTA and go to Magazine Street. Magazine Street's a big shopping street, even to this day in New Orleans. And there was a comic book shop, and it was unair conditioned. And the guy at the shop had a parrot. Yeah, the parrot was, weird, and he was weird because he owned a comic book shop that wasn't air conditioned. And it wasn't like we were going to 1962 for God's sakes. I mean, we were going like in the mid 80s, and you'd go in there, and I remember buying books that he had in a box that were three for $1, and it was multiple boxes. It wasn't just one box. And I just remember pulling out what a great way to try to discover what you're interested in. That's where I started. Like my cousin was in the Avengers, and every time I tried to buy something, he's like, "Why are you copying me?" So I started buying West Coast Avengers, and I was telling Nick 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser one time. In fact, that's why I got into to West Coast Avengers, and why I knew so much about him is because I was like, okay, if you're gonna buy Avengers stuff, I'll buy West Coast Avengers, and that's why I always liked Hawkeye and stuff. Yeah, he was the leader. There's their figures for the Dino Riders. Those are
the guy on the right, though. The little guy on the right, though, reminds me of John Oates. Of Hall and Oates.
There you go.
The little short guy with the mustache.
He's a little thick too, and dude, those guys are a little bitty too. A G.I. Joe's are 3 3/4 inches. Those are about a half an inch less than those. So yeah.
And no swamp cooler. I guess is that for the show?
Swamp cooler. I don't know what Peter V means by a swamp cooler. Swamp cooler around here is a fan that blows through wet fabric and works like a poor man's air conditioner.
Oh, there you go. Hey, gotta have something. Oh man, God, the guy on the left looks like He-Man to me, like a blonde He-Man to me with the hair, and I don't know what the guy in the middle.
The action figures themselves were not the selling point of this. It was very much the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs were cool.
Everybody loves dinosaurs.
Yep, can't go wrong with dinosaurs.
All right, now we're getting into some of the Hot Wheels collections. So we got some good stuff here today, Pat showing. And again, the ticker at the bottom says that this is just for informational discussion purposes. We are not promoting the sale, purchase of any items to anyone, especially those under 18. And we're just here having fun as two old guys talking about things that somebody likes to collect. So,
yeah. These are definitely not for sale. These are like 70s and 80s Hot Wheels.
Man, oh God, could you imagine the metal? I mean, real metal, not fake plastic. And all that, and the paint.
Yeah, those suckers.
How many of them might have lead paint in them?
What, 72? I think they started telling them not to do it. So
wow.
I don't think I have too many 72s. Most of what I have there that you're seeing is like 78 through like 80.
I still love those cars though. I don't care. It's just, especially that middle silver one right here. That's a car I like.
That's a gold one, buddy. And the one in the back's actually a gold Firebird.
This
just
one over here.
It's like the cousin, behind the scoop and the van.
Yeah.
It's just the same replica of the black one. They did a gold series. They released like the 5-packs, and they were all gold. So you had the gold Firebird, the Hatsu.
Oh, this one over to the left, Smokey and the Bandit's all I think black Trans Am. All right, so we got 8 people with us, Pat. Hey, that's great, y'all. Thank y'all for being here, hang with us. Hit that like button, share it out with everybody, sub if you haven't. But hey, we're taking part 2 with Pat today, covering up the stuff that we did not get to in 3.5 hours last time. It was crazy. So, hey, Mr. Angel says everybody loves dinosaurs until a T-Rex wraps on your shoulder. Oh, I saw the Meg yesterday, Meg 2.
Oh, yeah?
Talking about prehistoric stuff. That was crazy. It was weird. It almost became a kaiju movie at the ending because of all the different stuff that popped out. So And now Peter Venkman fan site wants that gold set.
Yeah, that gold set's pretty cool. They're pretty expensive though. The T top alone's worth like $100. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to find them all, I've never seen a pack even on
Yep.
eBay altogether. That'd be pretty awesome. Did you collect these? What was great about these is
I didn't collect them. I got a few Hot Wheels from time to time, but not really car. I was not really into cars. My thing was really the Star Wars as a kid.
I hear you. What was awesome about cars though was, see, with me, we were a little bit poorer than you,
Hmm.
but it was like we were
We were kind of
constantly.
poor though, being self-employed. My parents were, but go
I
ahead.
hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not saying you were a rich kid, but
yeah.
what I am telling you is, so you'd be around like your cousins and like different people would watch and stuff and everything, especially
Mhm.
me, being a military family.
Yeah.
Um, so you go to the store, dude, and it would be like, if your grandma or grandpa wanted to be nice, they'd let you get a car and a candy bar or something like
Yep.
that. It'd be the equivalent of about $3 today. So back then
Yeah.
it was probably like, I think Hot Wheels cars back then were like in the 70s. By the way, dude, I found something I'm gonna send you and Mark and the gang from Sunday night. Have you ever heard of pocket cars? All right, I want you to think.
I don't.
Did you
I've
ever
heard of
have?
pocket monsters, but I don't know
All right,
pocket.
did you ever have like a TG&Y or a Ben Franklin store, something like that? Or
No, we didn't have those
okay,
down here.
those are the ones that you could find there, dude, and they are much, much, much more valuable because they were so much rare. I think they were made in France,
Mm,
and
okay.
they were pocket cars. And if you looked at the card of it, and I just found these, I totally forgot we had them. Um, they're the package looks like a denim jean pocket,
Mm.
and that's what you get. And they had some really cool stuff and everything and all. So did I send you the old Matchbox, the old Lindsay stuff?
You might have. I'll take a
Okay,
look. But yeah,
no problem, dude.
and that got that question of what you were talking about. You mean the like Matchbox?
Kind of like Matchbox, but I would say even a different level than that. And those are definitely like 50 cents. Yeah. Oh, there they are. There's the pocket cars. I did find them in time. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, those are nice cars. Nice
Those are
cars.
amazing, dude. You're looking at, this was the buy of the century, dude. This is like because I'm more like a hunter, catcher, and release, go out in the wild and find stuff guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not real big on buying on eBay and stuff and all like that because it's much more expensive. This guy put an ad in Craigslist about
Wow.
3 years ago, and he was selling all these cars for $100. So my brother and I went to Baton Rouge to meet this guy, and he
Mm-hmm.
brought him, dude. He had every one of them. He said, he's like, I got 97 of them. I want $100. And when we got there, we were like, sir, as much
Wow.
as we'd love to beat you out of money, I want to let you know that there's probably not a car here that's worth less than about $7. And he goes, no, no, I understand that. He goes, this is my son's. He's no longer with us. He would be 50 years old today if he was still alive and everything and all that. He's like, we just want him gone. We wanted him to go to somebody that would appreciate him and everything and all that. And he said, honestly, I thought some kid would buy him that wants to, that would want to keep him. But look, if you guys want to, sell him and enjoy him or keep some and sell some, he's like, I have no problem with that. He's like, I just want $100. So his wife was in the car, and my brother was dealing with him, and I actually walked over there, and I'm like, oh, ma'am, here's the $100, and I handed it to her. And then my brother paid the guy $100, and we actually gave him $200 for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, dude, it's worth probably even 10 times that. You're probably looking at between $1,500 and $2,000 worth of cars. I just couldn't do it. Look, don't get me wrong. I am not opposed to a good deal. If somebody called me up today and were like, we're selling these Star Wars figures for $1 a piece, I'd be like, okay, I'll buy them from you. But with him, with that
Right.
story, and he wasn't trying to beat anybody out of anything,
Mm-hmm.
because he wasn't telling me a sob story so that we would buy him from him. He's telling me like, look, this is why I don't want to have him anymore. So
Right.
um, I'm like, I'll probably never find that again, anything like that. And we still have, I'd say, probably half those. There were a lot of duplicates, so
Yeah.
we sold some of the duplicates, but
Duplicates are not a bad thing. It's
yeah.
you can sell them off and whatever else. So, oh my goodness. So, folks, we're here with Pat S. Make sure y'all hit that like button. We got 10 people here. What a great turnout on a Sunday afternoon, and sitting back, chilling out with these things, and we have not gotten to my favorite parts of this show yet. That's to come very, very soon. Uh, Now we're going to talk about some more up individual cars here, some more close up. So, now Pat, was this one of those that the red thing that that you stick in and you pull it and it can self
Uh-huh.
drive? All right, where did you come
Dude,
across
you would
this?
be amazed. You would be amazed how many people that collect Star Wars stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
showed that on when Pops was doing his Star Wars Day
Mm-hmm.
thing a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there were people who had been collecting since day one, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
in their 60s, had never seen that before, dude. Had never seen that before.
Well,
As a matter of
70 in the
fact,
70s, there was a big thing with those, not just the wind up, but like the pull
right.
string charge cars to run on them on their own like that.
And what's cool about that is, I think personally, as a kid, I probably would have wanted the other one, but I think that that's the core of the ones that they have. But there's actually a white one that has like Luke and Han and the droids on it and everything. Looks
Mm-hmm.
kind of think like the poster a little bit, but not quite. Like it looks more like them than. But yeah, dude, those are amazing. So yeah, you'd put them in the middle, and I think they had some kind of, it was like a flint and steel kind of deal, like think like a lighter, right? And they would shoot
Mm-hmm.
out some sparks and everything. And yeah, there's a
Yep.
big middle, like the wheels you're seeing there, guys. Those aren't what they really rolled on. I mean, those did roll. They do roll and everything and all, but there's a big fifth wheel kind of like smack in the middle of it, almost like a gyro kind of thing. And that is what that red zipper looking thing is. You'd put that in and you pull that and you let it go. And dude, to find one in that good of condition, because let's be honest, if you ever played with anything like that, you and I both know you're running that into walls. It's flipping on its side, and
I love those. I love those cars. I wish I still kept some of them. One of the things that I really wish I had from the 70s was like Evil Knievel. I think there was a specifically Evil Knievel, but there were others like motorcycles that had the big black charge up thing. You put the it on the little ramp thing. You used a hand crank, and then you
oh
hit the
yeah,
button and it released. Those were awesome too.
definitely that was a little bit, not completely, but a little bit after my time. But I was lucky enough to
Hmm.
have an older cousin, and when he would get rid of his toys, I would get that kind of stuff. So I remember inheriting a lot of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. And here for Steve Mitchum, if he's still here, 1978. It's not the comedic, funny ass fat Thor. It's Thor. It looks pretty powerful.
That's a
Yeah.
cool van. Yeah, Hot Wheels did a series of those off and on in the late
Hmm.
70s. There's a green Hulk van with like the spoiler on the top. There's a Spider van, which is kind of funny. And um, it's just some different Marvel ones that they did like that, um, that are just pretty cool. And that was just something I thought was like, that's pretty neat.
Yeah, absolutely. I do, especially with the superheroes. So, and then, all right, folks, we're into my favorite part of this stream, the video game consoles. So, hey, everyone
Yep.
has a story. In the early days, we've had some shows where we talked about video games. You got one controller, you got maybe trackballs, you got just buttons, Space Invaders. You'd have one person, and of course, player one would go, player two then go the next turn. But hey, this is I as this I don't know. There might have been some before it because I remember Gauntlet. I
I was
remember
going to say Gauntlet's probably your
yeah,
original four-player top.
right.
Yeah.
But I think this is still got to be one of the earlier ones though of a four-player arcade game.
Oh yeah, this the Simpsons one. I don't know if you remember
Oh
that.
God, I love the Simpsons.
Marge with
Yes,
her vacuum cleaner and stuff. And
Bart
yeah,
with the
this is the one
skateboard.
that you could play four tops. You could be any one of the turtles, and the joysticks were actually representative. So if you went to the purple, you were Donatello. If you went to red, you were Raph. So on Mikey Yellow, of course, and Leonardo. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but do you remember, if you, especially you were great at fighting games? Do you remember what the best turtle to play was?
Who?
I personally think this because I wasn't good at it, but I used to play Donatello all the time, even though he was not my favorite turtle. Michelangelo was my favorite turtle, but
Right.
I would play Donnie because he had that bow staff, bro, and his reach was incredible.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, "Oh, I want to be Leonardo because he's got cool, katana blades and stuff." And but the reach on Donatello was amazing, and I think he also does the thing where he like uses it to like jump himself so he can like hop over things and stuff and all too. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. And of course, I have 4 nephews that own that with us, and this is all the boys are all going to have these as they get older and everything. But it's pretty funny because they can all play together on it. So pretty cool. That's our old game room, dude. We're
Yeah.
moving into the new house. Pretty
Okay.
much the goal date is October 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of this stuff is in storage now, and we're getting it. I think I sent you those pictures earlier.
Yeah.
We're getting everything serviced. We're changing the lights out behind the marquee. We're getting the boards cleaned and all the wires checked. We have a guy. He's a really cool dude, but and this is a friendship price. I've heard he's charged as much as $50 an hour before, but he's doing $30 an hour for us. So we told him we want to get as much done with 10 hours as we can. So
Yeah.
he's going to come over like one day this week, but we've already taken everything apart. So you can take the joystick controllers with him and everything and redo
Now
it.
it looks like it's a normal power switch, power plug in the back. I mean, these games.
Oh yeah. We just a bunch of, they're probably all. They might be 110. I think they're probably all 220. And
Okay.
yeah, we just ran it. It's what we did was like a lot of houses in Algiers. The one that we were in when we did that was actually raised. And what they did was there was a carport in the back, and they just closed in the carport and then ran that as outside wiring because they knew they were going to just put games and then make it a game room. That's exactly what it was. So
now, do they do the quarter slots, the change mechanism? They work.
100%.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, you could see the key in it.
Huh.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do with your key. Either keep it unlocked, and if you can unlock it and close
down
it,
at the bottom here.
Put your key in the money box. If you can't, just leave the key in it. As long as you don't have any little biddies running around, you should be okay. I mean, the boys are all teenagers, and one of them's in the 20s now. So,
this is an awesome game. I love this game,
though, dude. It was not an easy game, was it?
No, it wasn't.
For an older game,
especially you got off to the edges of the map. You very easy to pop it off the side instead of. It was not forgiving. It did not force you one way or the other. It would let you go over the side or off the bottom.
Now, there's some games we would sell. There's some games we would trade. That one's going nowhere. The only way we would trade that Q-Bert is, and let's see, you have to have some really, you'd have to have some really hardcore Q-Bert fans out there to know this. There was, I think, my nephew standing in front of me. Wasn't it like only 2,000, Chuck? 2,000 of the Mellow? Yeah. They did a promotion with Mellow Yellow drink. And I think they redid the intro with Mellow Yellow. So there's 2,000 boards out there, 2,000 games, or there was at one time. God only knows how many years survived. But it's a Mellow Yellow thing. And it actually is basically Q-Bert hawking Mellow Yellow at the beginning. We would totally trade up for that. Somebody wanted our machine and a couple extra bucks. Yeah, we would definitely be willing to do that.
I always loved in the arcades where people go up and they'd stick their quarter on top of the glass.
Yeah.
We're next.
Got next game.
But look, you can tell this game has been loved and used.
Yep.
Because you can see, the burn image into it. Because even though it rotated its image a lot, it spent a lot of time, but even between games with the preview screen with that. So
I think you'd be hard pressed. There's other games I like better than Q-Bert, but if you look at that marquee, you look at the glass work, you look at the artwork. I don't think I sent you any side pictures of it, and ours is pretty pristine. Dude, the artwork on that Q-Bert is it's so nice. It's clean. It's what the characters look like. And sometimes, you're like, well, remember when you first saw Space Invaders and it's like that big electric lightning looking monster? There's nothing like that in Space Invaders. Space Invaders is a great game, don't get me wrong, but that's what the Q-Bert game looks like. And that way it's almost like a perfect 80s machine. It really is. It's a good one to own too, dude, because you got to get good at it to really enjoy it.
Yeah,
if not, you're just pumping quarters into that baby, man.
Yeah. Mr. Angel was how we mentioned we make Q-Bert, so he thought it meant turtle game because he said a good range of combos. Yeah, I keep telling my kids I'm from a generation of a joystick and maybe 2 buttons. So
Yeah.
And there it goes. It proves it. So
And the game next to it is actually called Pingo, and it's a penguin game. It's kind of cool.
I think we may have that. So let me see if we can find that up here a
Yeah.
little bit.
Not
So,
not a super well known game, but still pretty cool.
well, here's the classic.
Yes and no. It was a re-release. It was a
Well, I
25th
mean,
year
the game
anniversary.
Space Invaders itself was a
Yes, it
classic,
is a
but the machine
classic.
is a release. Yeah.
Yeah, and it comes with Quicks, which is an awesome game. I don't know if you ever played that, like on your phone, back in your old
Mm-mm.
phone. You could play that, but that's the game where you try to close. You make boxes within a box, and
Yeah.
there's little sparks that can knock. It's a great game. That's a great cabinet too. It's still
Yeah.
old. I mean, it was a 25 re-release, so I think it's from like, let's see, 79, 89, 99. Yeah, it's still like almost a 20-year-old cabinet. So
Yep. All right. Well, we got that one. I like these dual purpose games, though. I got
yeah,
one I'll show you a little bit later. It's not a collectible, but
yes.
uh, an X-Men. This is another one of those classic 4-player games that came out. God, my first job, we worked downtown at a landing and it had the arcade. I'd end up playing this damn game at lunch sometimes, which is really cool. So, yeah.
Who did you play?
Wolverine.
Okay, yeah.
Is there any option? I mean, Wolverine. That's the only one. Mr. Angel said here that my best memory, 80s memory, was an X-wing game, and you could sit it on in the cockpit, spend way too much money in that damn trench run. I wonder if that's the one that we talked about before that has the very like grainy graphics, like very box oriented. That has the towers that come up and the white
Yeah,
tips on them.
yeah,
And
that's
stuff.
exactly what it means. Yeah, that was definitely
Because I saw that both as a game where you sat in something, and I've also seen it as a standing game.
There are both. I
Yeah.
can guarantee there's a standing one because at my old movie theater, which is the one I used to go to, actually both the movie theaters I go to as a child had the standing game. If you remember the movie theaters, they didn't have too many of the seating games because they took up so much room.
Yeah.
And the movie theaters, they'd have all that out in the lobby, kind of along the walls.
See, I agree that these are so much fun because even back when my kids were younger, they released some new Star Wars games that had more color, better graphics. But there was just something damn about this game that was so much fun to play.
Hey, dude, let me tell you, there's
incredible.
still a lot of kids that play these games, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you buy the retro game and stuff, like the 20 games in one and everything. They still love it. It's something about the simplicity of it. You know?
Exactly. And hello, Canadian Spider-Man. Good to see you the second time today.
Wow. Hey, buddy.
Last time I saw him was 6:00 this morning. So he was.
He's easy to find. Just wander over to Cardinal Sin, dude.
Yeah. Well, he actually came and joined our night. Actually, he came by like about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. He spent some time with us, but good to see all y'all with us today. 10 of y'all. Make sure, Mr. Angel. Yeah, very primitive but fun, and yeah, stand and cockpit, absolutely. So, all righty, and then of course you got Super Pac-Man next to it, which was one of my favorites. You got the other side of Pingo, but let's see what we got next. There we go. I thought we had this one, Pingo. So, what is this game about? What is it like?
Dude, that's a much older game. It's not exactly a favorite of mine, but I have a nephew who's like really into penguins. So we got it from him, but you could tell, dude, that is an older game. That's like an 81 game. Look how small the screen is on it. I mean, look at the artwork compared to it. It's a real thin, kind of looks like that Popeye.
And all the burn screens on all these things. That's something.
Yeah, it's not even a side scroll, dude. It's like you're familiar with original Mario Bros. Like the original Mario Brothers game where you're knocking the crabs and stuff and everything. Yeah. Think of it like that. You know, it's an up-down game. It's a dig dug. It's a Burger Time game is what it is. Yeah.
Oh, I love Burger Time.
You're all on kind of one screen. Things swap up a little bit. Maybe the burgers look a little bit different and everything. That's the same thing with Pingo. You're just basically pushing around ice, buddy.
You see, I stream games from the PS4, so I've got some retro games that I want to get back streaming some more of them and try to. PlayStation at least lets you buy an online version, which to me is becoming easier than the physical copies because I've had bad luck the last couple times I got physical copies, but Burger Time is a classic game.
Oh, great game, yeah. I'd love to know that one. By the way, Dave, man, you could tell too that this one is a little bit older too, because if you look at the coin box where the key is and all that, I don't think it was until '83 when they started coming out with the classic red glowing light 24-cent boxes, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
still almost a standard today, except for that it doesn't take 25 cents anymore. But that was the industry standard for a while. That red glowing 25 cent telling you where to put the coins in
Oh
at.
yeah, I remember
Yeah,
the
that's
color. Yeah.
that's just a basic coin drop. It's a little slotted metal thing that you just drop the coin in and you hope it goes through or
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
steal it from you. You know.
Yeah. Exactly. So I'm going to do something real quick. I'm actually going to throw a poll out here real quick and
Shoot.
see where it goes. So let's see. Let's see. Galaga. Galaga. Okay. So I want to ask, which is your favorite old arcade video game? We've talked about some nice special ones, but we'll go basic and old school. Space Invaders, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, or Galaga. So feel free to vote in this poll and let us know what your favorite is of these. So
Donkey
first,
Kong's pretty up there. If you wanted to buy a cabinet, a great cabinet to have was the 25th anniversary Miss Pac-Man with Galaga. That
oh
is
my
awesome.
God. Oh, please. Okay, I'm going to show you something a little bit. That I love Miss Pac-Man. Miss Pac-Man was my game. She was faster, and I had those patterns memorized. It was like
Oh yeah,
it just was like so cool. It was like somebody said before. Some of those games they advance so far that you basically are just playing on instinct.
no doubt, no doubt.
So, all right. So we'll look at there we got the
Yep, that's
front
them
is
getting pulled apart.
and
We're
there's
gonna
the
get
Super
we're gonna
Pac-Man.
The good news is the stickers on the Super Pac-Man isn't messed up, but it definitely needs some touch-up paint.
Mm-hmm.
But the Cubert, we took that out because his light's been out for like about a year and a half. So we did that. You can see where we pulled the joystick boards out of those. We're going to have all those cleaned, have all the wires and connectors tested and checked. And yeah.
Yep. All right. So, I love these collections. These are really, really cool here. Close another spot, I think a little bit of a closer angle.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, you pulled those boards out. Wow. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, you really.
I think that's really cool that y'all know how to do that stuff.
You had to get them cleaned and everything. Well, we're gonna do the base work of it, but the guy we know is gonna do like anything that has anything, specific or if something needs. But yeah, I mean, we can. I mean, dude, you're not a solder. Come on, I don't mean just you, but like,
Right.
come on. Most nerds out there, we all had a soldering gun, right, in the 80s. Gotta fix my.
What about the magnifier head, the magnifier thing on your head, the magnifier glasses you
But
dropped?
you did though, did you? You fixed like your own Walkman and stuff, right? That was like a kind of yeah. I had to know how to do that, dude. Nobody wants to go and buy a new Walkman in '84. That's a lot of money.
I know. Well, this was some of the. So, man, we got through the games pretty quickly, but we're at about just a little bit over an hour.
We looked at some of them. We sold 2, so we only have about 6 now.
Mm-hmm.
That we have. That wasn't even all the games. That's just the ones we're working on right there.
Well, we can take a few minutes to look at all these things. There is one thing on here that I really want to talk about, but I'll let you go ahead and start. Are there any of these that really jump out at you, or the special things of these items?
The World's Fair thing is really cool because I was a little bitty guy when the World's Fair came in '84. That's pretty hip. Can you blow it up a little bit?
Yeah,
that is an original Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. We do have everything but 3 ghosts from the first gen release of the real Ghostbusters action figures. That's an M&M. If you go down a little bit, that is some of the Star Trek figures we have. That's Odo, my nephew's favorite. He's got one favorite from each of the real, as some of our friends call it the real Star Trek, right, from '66 to 2005.
Right.
So he's a Spock, Data, Odo, Phlox, guy. That's like his thing. So
yeah,
he's a big Odo fan. There's some Simpsons stuff. Hey Arnold.
Yep.
The boys like. Some more Hot Wheels. That's a really cool set. That's the all Hot Wheels mega set.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. Some of the wrestling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A really old Donald Duck.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. It looked like Donald Duck. So Um, Before I touch on something I wanted to look at real quick, Mr. Angel asked, "Do you do modern conversion or old restoration or both?"
No, I don't. We don't put anything modern in. We don't do any new. I understand the temptation for that. Like, oh, let's put a new LCD screen. No, we do everything old. We even have some old boards that we have for trading and as a secondary thing. But no, we don't. We've never even pulled a board out of a game and put another board in. You know,
Yep.
that's just not how we do it. Some people like it that way. We don't. We want to be a purist because if we've and we, we've owned, dude. We've owned some of those. I don't know if we owned the one up games, maybe, but we've owned some of those games that have 75 games and all. That's great. If you just want to be, I mean, I'm not going to go love 1942. I'm not going to go out
Mhm.
and buy a 1942 game. Um, but if I could get a one up for $200, which was pretty funny. At one time, we were going to try to sell the what game were we going to sell? Was it the Rampage? No, it was one of the other ones. Oh, the X-Men game. That's what it was.
Mhm.
And this guy offered me $300 for it. I had it for sale for $3,000. I was like, I won't give you. He goes, you mean 300, right? I'll give you 300 for it right now. I'm like, no, dude, I'm not going to sell that for $300. I said, I'm sorry, no, I can't let it go
That's an
for it.
insult. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like.
I mean, I got some leeway here. We can go to like 28. He's like, dude, I could buy a brand new one.
See,
And
I don't mind people asking like that because the missus looks at me like I'm an idiot sometime when I ask that. And I was like, how about free? And she's like, dude, she's like, don't even ask that. You sound stupid with it. I want to pay as little as I have to, but no.
But this
Three
guy,
times that's one.
he wasn't even dumb. He was just ignorant because he was like, I could buy a new one at GameStop for $500. And I'm like, no, my friend, you could buy a one up. I said, this is a 1993 X-Men original with all the sticks working and everything.
Right.
I said, you cannot buy that for $500. I said, you can
No.
find one of those for $500. You call me up because we'll have two at my house.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
all
He
right.
just
Well,
didn't know. He was probably a young guy. But
could
is
be.
that what you wanted to ask me about?
I wanted to ask you personally this part, this 84 World's Fair.
Yes.
There used to be a USFL team, the New Orleans Breakers. I believe they had that blue and gray color as
Yep,
their.
that was the exact. That was almost the exact way it looked, and all too. If you pull if you pull out the old emblem, on the side of
Mhm.
the helmet, it was the
Exactly.
Breakers. But I think it was I think it was the bridge. I think it was the old G&O bridge at the time. Is
Well,
what it was. But
all I know is this looks like the New Orleans Breakers, and actually, I was at the World's Fair in 1984.
really,
That particular one, yes, it was when I went with my parents and some cousins. Actually, we caught them. There was a parade down. It had to be around Mardi Gras time or something because I think we might have gone to the Slidell. I don't think it was New. I don't remember. I thought we made it down to Bourbon Street. I don't know. I could be wrong because I was young then. I don't remember, but I know that they're throwing a door open and doing somebody's dancing on a table. I guess half clothed, and my mom was trying to peek in. She couldn't see it, and our cousin was like laughing at her because she couldn't see it. But everything smelled like vomit. It was like, oh gosh, it was
yep,
horrible. And you
Bourbon
didn't go to
Street still smells
McDonald's
like
because
shit.
they had the McDonald's blocked off in terms of nobody could use the restrooms because they didn't want anybody using the restrooms. Um, but I that's what. But I do remember this World's Fair, and I don't remember when the last World's Fair was. They're not still ongoing, are they?
Oh yeah, they are.
They are.
They're just not here, dude. They're like in Dubai and stuff and all. I don't think we've had one in the Americas since, well, not the Americas, but North America since like '94.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Because then that's why I don't hear about them anymore. Because I
Right.
think they'd be cool to go to, but it's just it's just so funny. But it's so funny that was the one. That was one thing, even more than some of the video games that just jumped out at me that you had shared. Maybe if you stalk a closing store, arcade, or bowling lane, you could get it for $300. So
Yeah.
and I don't know. I'm wondering if this is a reference to Bourbon Street. So. Uh, but yeah, absolutely. So, I want to see where we are right now. Uh, Before I move on, I'm going to multitask a second. So, bear with me a second because I want to before we go further show something from another video game that we had, and I want to share it because you had some really good stuff there, and you really did. You had some classics, and I had mentioned that I'm a Miss Pac-Man guy. Well, up in Dubai. Oh wait, huh? Yeah, Mr. Angel said yes, they are. Next is in Dubai, I think, or Saudi Arabia. Can't remember. Wow. Okay. Well, cool. I wish they'd come back to America and try to do it one time, uh, but uh, the Miss and I did went across the country for 16 days. We did a recap show and we did some individual streams. One of my favorite things that I popped into the stream was this sucker in Du Bois, Wyoming. It is a table version of Miss Pac-Man, not only with track balls and everything else, but it obviously contained multiple games, including Mappy, which I'm familiar with for some of the games that I bought in for
Mappy's a mouse.
yeah, and I've actually seen that in some of the games that we have when I buy the physical media or some of the online. They got the combination games. Yes, the big thing with this was we had to get to Denver. It was already later in the day. We took forever getting out of Yellowstone, and we stopped here to eat. It was Nana's Bowling and Bakery. So they had bowling, they had a bakery, they had a diner, they had a bakery, and they had an arcade. And this thing was sitting here right in the middle. And I'm just like, the missus knew I was crying. I could not play it because had I played there, one game would have taken me at least half an hour. Just that stuff is so ingrained in my mind and my brain, and it's the one thing that it's the one. There are a couple things that we missed, but this was one thing that I really wish we had time where I could have done that. But especially when you could sit. Yep. Yeah, remember you go to Pizza Hut and they'd have either Miss Pac-Man like this or Pac-Man. They'd have the table versions. So
yes, yeah. I remember Pizza Hut always had like 2 tabletop games like that, right? Like they call those cocktail table games,
mm-hmm.
And then they had like 3 or 4, and then they have a jukebox, right? Kind of like right outside the bathroom.
Right. I wonder if my wife will jump in the car with me, drive up to Du Bois again, and we'll just drive straight there, and that's all we do.
Well, dude, that's just a redo right there. That's not an original game.
I know, but still playing the game.
You can
but
buy one not that expensive.
Really? You can buy them like that? Well,
the problem is, you can probably find. The
problem is we have here is space, though.
That's what's nice about a table, dude.
We probably would do better with an upright because of our space challenges. So,
I hear.
Oh yeah, I like that. Mr. Angel says over here had these in the kids section. There were a line of adults playing LOL. Yep.
Wow, that's cool. I don't remember McDonald's having those.
Well, I tell you what, you go to Orlando, the world's largest McDonald's is on International Drive and Sand Lake Road, is like 2 floors and has all kinds of video games in it. So we took our kids there when they were younger, and some McDonald's do have that kind of stuff. So,
but I will tell you this: I remember in the 80s, man, there were video games everywhere, right? Like you go to a convenience store, there was a video game there. Certainly bars had them, restaurants had them. There were all kinds of. There was a drugstore that had one, which was funny because they were like, "You kids can't be loitering around here." It's like, dude, we're playing your video games and buying these magazines. Can't loiter here. It's exactly what you want, isn't it? There's a reason you put all the comics, this video game, and all the chocolate milk in one spot, my friend. Come on, who are we playing with here?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one down. We're going to move back to the collection, but I tell you, I wanted to show that with the video games before we moved any further.
Absolutely. So, look, I want to give you a heads up, dude. We're at a little bit underneath the 15-minute mark.
Yep, I see it. Yep, thanks for the reminder. So, hey,
everybody,
not here with us. Make sure you follow us on the Twitch side. Hit that like and subscribe on this YouTube side. We got Pat S. We're wrapping up some of the collections of part 2 of our stream. And we're going to bring in the wrestling. So, hey, and some Garfield, too. So,
yep. There's a lot of stuff I don't know much about, dude. I probably stopped watching wrestling in the early 90s. But 2 out of my 3 nephews are really, really, really into it. They just went to SummerSlam last week.
Yeah, I only noticed.
It was here at the Dome. Yeah, what was it? 2 Fridays ago or something? Yeah, dude. He collects all the old ones and everything. He's all excited. There's a Captain Lou Albano coming out.
Oh wow!
It was like, it's about time. There hasn't never been a Mattel Captain Lou Albano. I'm like, I'll take your word for it, but I respect that you're going to get one.
What? How do you not have a Lou Albano? So then
I'll
we
let you know
got
when they come out. Yeah, dude,
that was the
we got a
last
lot
slide.
of we got a lot of Garfield stuff, dude. We got some cells, some animation cells with Garfield,
Yeah, I
and
think
that's
last
actually
stream.
signed by.
Yeah, last time we talked about some of those cells there. How did you
Yeah,
come
that's and
across the
that's
cell stuff?
that's that's signed by Jim Davis too. Going to cons, eBay, and I will tell you this: like, I can't front, dude. As much as I'm like, I don't use eBay to find action figures. I rarely buy an action figure off of eBay, but finding animation cells, I would say 50% of what we find is on eBay. They're hard to find anywhere else. It's really where they are. And we were buying an animation cell. We were asking, hey, you got any more Garfield stuff? He's like, I have an original Garfield with, Kiss the Chef hat. And he's like, oh, I have this thing signed by Jim Davis. He's like, it's pretty nice. And he pulled it out. It was in a flat cardboard thing. It wasn't rolled up and everything. And it was that Garfield. And we're like, ooh, we want
Wow.
that. We're going to go get it. And we had that thing like framed and on the wall, dude, in like 3 days. Like, right.
Well, Gap After Dark said, I've got Andre the Giant as Bigfoot wrestling figure from the $6 million man. That's pretty cool. Peter Vinkman fan site asked, did you get any of the small TMNT figures from Family Dollar and Dollar General?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything Ninja Turtle pencils, the stamps that they were probably like an inch tall, and each stamp was like, if it was a little Mikey on it, it would be the Mikey stamp and stuff like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me say hi to our Jess, one of our great mods here. Thank you for putting the link to our Twitter out there. Jess, always good to see you. And thank you for all that you do out here. So we've got 10 people still watching. Pat, I mean, that is it for the pictures that we have. We talked about 2 different streams. In just a couple of minutes, what we got left with you. What of all the collections? We talked about cars, we talked about characters, we talked about stills, we've seen arcade games. What is your favorite thing to collect?
Whew. I'm gonna still probably say action figures in general. It's certainly it. I went through a phase where I got every carded DS9 figure, everyone. I had every one of them. It was a big deal. And then once I had them, I was like, okay, well, I got it. I think that's when I first figured out I was kind of like a catch and release guy, because I'll buy a bunch of stuff and then I'll sell it. I have to say, honestly, if you're like pick 3 action figure things, I would have to say right now my collection of Ghostbusters is pretty high there. I mean, I have a phenomenal, I don't know if I showed it last time, clean Firehouse, which was the playset that they made, a great Ecto 1, a pretty decent Ecto 2. We're still trying to find some of the Ghost. We're going into that Gen 2 stuff now. That I'm having a lot of fun with.
Here you
The
go.
Palisades Muppets. We're still buying. Yeah, there you go. There's the back of that.
Mm-hmm.
And ours is complete. I don't know why our little containment center isn't down there. And yes, Ecto 1 actually fits through the 2 doors. What a great playset too, man. It really does. It's like perfect because you can kind of have it as like that one skinny building. It looks just like from the movie, just like from the cartoons. Color
Mm-hmm.
scheme's a little different in the cartoon, obviously. So that's a fun one. And then, dude, besides because the Palisades Muppets will probably be collecting forever and ever. And then I'd say probably my latest one, like the one I'm into right now, that we're playing with. We're going back and forth between Street Sharks, which are really expensive, really hard to find. They're very interesting figures, though. But really, dude, anything from the '70s and early '80s, especially. But if I had to fill that third slot in past the Muppets, and those it would have to be there's just so that I was talking to Troy about this, Troy Passell, who does late call, last call, what is it on Troy's just a good guy, dude. I was talking to him about the Star Wars figures, and I think Pops and I were talking about it too when he was doing the Star Wars thing. There's
Mm-hmm.
something about those 77 to 84, 85, before the first Powers of the Force Star Wars figures came out. There's something about those original Star Wars figures that, dude, if you laid out brand new today. You went out and bought it. There's a bunch of Star Wars figures. You laid out a bunch of cool powers of the Force, and you laid out some of the B-list characters, some of the secondary, like ones you'd buy after you bought Luke Han and the Stormtrooper and everything, and you laid those out. A 4-year-old kid would still gravitate to those old ones. There's just something about them with their
Mm-hmm.
little 4 and 5 points of articulation, right? Some of them don't. No, they don't have any bending knees. They don't have, some of them, the heads don't even bend like the stormtroopers. It's just their arms go up and down and their legs move. There's something about those figures, man, that are just they're magical, dude. And I think part of it's nostalgia, but I think too when you're looking at that, you're like, wow, man, that's history. But that's not just history. That started the small action figure movement. That shortage that we had of plastic, them rushing to get started. Because, dude, I'm sure you've seen these before too. At the same time those little action figures were coming out, those little 3/4,
Mm-hmm.
they were released in 12-inch Luke Skywalker. As a matter of fact, if you have any of those guys, they're worth a ton. But they released, Luke Skywalker that was big. They released a 12-inch Han Solo, a 12-inch Darth Vader, and people didn't gravitate to those. They gravitated to those little. It was something you could buy. It was something if you went with your mom to the store and you were really good that week at school, you got an A on your spelling test, you can get one of those figures. Your mom wasn't buying you a $20 toy, which would be a $50 toy today.
Yeah.
They weren't.
I know
doing that.
my mom really saved up to get me that Millennium Falcon. I always bug Bart with that, but it's like, it was special things because we didn't have the money back then, and they were big. I mean, nowadays it'd be cheap, but back then, I remember when characters were like 99 cents or $1.99, and now they're like 15 bucks and stuff. It just, if you like it, it's just, and I also don't like the more modern ones because they all look like they're juiced up on steroids. I like,
the power. The power of the Force. We would joke up. It would be like jacked.
I'm jacked, like, just give me the skinny people.
Luke Skywalker farm boy, right, with his shirt half opened. But Dad, man, too, the thing that we owe so much to those little Star Wars figures is like Scuba Pete and I wouldn't be able to talk about all that G.I. Joe stuff. G.I. Joe would have died, dude. If they wouldn't have went to those little Joes, that was a huge thing for me when I was a kid. That was probably my favorite action figure when I was a child. No doubt about it. Big G.I. Joe. I inherited some of those. My dad would get those at garage sales. But when I was about, 9, 10 years old and those came out, dude, those were freaking everything to me, man. And, boy, if you said to me, what would you want a complete collection of? Give me a complete collection of G.I. Joe. First of all, it'd be worth about $400,000 because there's so many of them. But they were just so cool. But those are all owed to the success of Star Wars, dude. Of those 1977, they're coming out, just 15 action figures. That all goes back to them, Yep. It really does.
Yep. All right. Well, Pat, any other last thoughts? We're going to go ahead and wrap up. I was thinking of going forward, but I've gotten invited to go somewhere else to do something in a little bit. So I taught sports ball. Actually, I managed to work in a chill stream overnight with 2 ladies there and Hungry Boy and other people that are not sports. We managed to talk some sports for a little bit. It was so good to work some sports talk in, but it's always good.
Right.
But
right. Dad, I will tell you this. The only thing I'm going to throw out to you, I know you and I are going to talk some football later on this fall coming, and that'll be interesting and fun. But if you want to talk a little bit more about comics, and you want to try to get like Clobby and 24, maybe we could even convince Pops to come on if it's at the right time for him and stuff and all. Yeah. And some of those guys that we really know that are real comics people, I'll even come on and show a few things that I have and everything, which is minuscule to what these guys have. These guys are serious collectors. This looks nice. I'd like to own it. I'd totally be down for that, dude. And you could get some real education, maybe even find some stuff you like, and they could certainly answer a lot of those questions for you that I was able to
so
answer.
It's always good.
A real quick question for you, dude. I've been meaning to ask you this. Your icon, are you like half a football, half a banana?
Absolutely. Let me bring it up.
Is that really what it is? I was just guessing. It's like kind of look like a banana,
it
but
is.
It looks like the stitches of the football on the skin of a football. Okay.
Yeah, no, it is. It's my kid made it. Because on Sunday nights on Mark's show, I'm always the Tiki doll because our friend Hungry Boy likes that for the Trilogy of Terror. But
Right.
When I decided to start streaming, it was kind of like, well, that is really somebody else's work. And my
Right.
kid had made one for the wife, and they're like, let's do something different. Let's do something our own. And yeah, the kid knew I got is the one that got me into Fortnite. Knew that I was going to start talking football, and actually did that with the banana, which is Peely from Fortnite, and then in uh, the brown is the football. But if you really look close, if you can magnify it as large as you can, that is you can see the little dots, the little ridge dots,
Oh yeah,
raised dots.
the grip, buddy. Yeah, the grip
Exactly.
on the
And then
football.
of
It definitely
course
looks like the stripes.
the stitches too that are there. So, and yes, thank
Absolutely.
you. Yeah, Creative Kid definitely
Yeah,
is. So, but
very nice.
hey, Pat,
Well,
you
look,
got
Dad,
anything
man,
you want to
I'm
shout
gonna
out?
let you run,
I know.
buddy.
I'm actually
Let me
going
do.
to shut down. If you got 1 second, I'm going to go ahead and shut us down right now with this and go out. But do you have anything else? Any place you're going to be soon?
Just real quick, dude. Of course, guys go wherever Dad Man's going next, but I won't be there tonight. Dad Man's gonna send my regards. But Mark tonight, Mark D's going a little bit
Yeah.
late, guys. 9:30, 10:30, your time. Guys, I'm working with now, dude. Pops does a great show with Ironcaster and Loki called Talk Hard on the 4:30 hour on Tuesdays, and of course my one of my best buds and the guy I work with all the time, Brandon the anime guy. He's going to be on a little hiatus this week. He's going to have some pre-records, but you can always find me there, guys. And I'm on Twitter too. Just look me up and let me know if you added me. I'll happily add you back, and you can send me any kind of DMs if you have any questions
Mhm.
about anything. But
Absolutely.
thanks, dude. Have a good rest of the Sunday, man.
All right. Well, you too, Pat. I'll catch you later then.
Take us out, bud.
All right. All right. Well, Wednesday night we got another chill chat coming in with the Miss Martin Muses. If you know who she is around YouTube, this is going to be fun, adventuresome. Maybe some Civil War battlefields, maybe some books. Who knows what we're going to talk about? But hey, join us for that Wednesday night at 9 p.m. both on YouTube and the Twitch channel. Oh God, Mr. Angel. So, you are a curve effect banana? Well, it kind of it was what a banana is. So,
Hey,
but
look,
we go,
see the grip on Dad Man's face where he grafted that football on his banana. You
I
can see
know
it
it's
good
like
there now.
there you go, right there. So, so also, let's see, I got to remember something real quick. Look, I'm so busy. I got damn calendars now. Can you believe it? So, let me see if I got yes. Friday night. You do not want to miss Wednesday night, but you do not want to miss this one. The great Hungry Boy will come on again with me to cause mayhem and mischief and riots, along with the misses as we pillage the village. Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Join us for that. Come here, Hungry Boy Unleashed, and the missus who can get rowdy herself too. And I'll try to keep everybody calm and be the mild mannered one. But hey, we no mercy. No stone stays unturned, and we will have a lot of fun with this one Friday night. Make sure you're there. Be prepared for gaming streams and follow me on Twitter. I'll put the link up in just a second again because we'll do random chill chats and game streams for August and September because of the work to get ready for football. So basically, mark your calendars for August 19th. Please be here. 7 o'clock Saturday, August 19th. We mark the 1 year anniversary since my first stream. Come a long way with it, Pat.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's just
Remind me.
funny.
Send me a
Exactly.
DM, dude.
I will definitely do and tag you on them, but make sure to be playing August 19th, 1 year. Go back and watch the first stream. It was kind of fun. I had friends out there kind of helping me. And just now, a year later, seeing all these new people coming in, still new coming in, and then people that have been with us joined us since then and here for the ride. So thank you all for everybody for being here. My calendar on that. Like I said, our live streams and videos are saved on youtube.com and twitch.tv, dadmanwalking55. And the best way to, make sure you hit your notifications on both. Make sure you hit the bell. Make sure you're still subscribed on the YouTube side because stuff does happen with that. And it does get kind of wonky at times. So, we are going to party. There's the Twitter link, as you see down here too, as I'm covering it. But there's the actual link itself. There's your link there. Pat, again, thank you so much. Thank you for everybody that's still here.
My friend.
And everybody, I hope you have a wonderful day today. I will be going over to Rambling Canucks channel in a little bit to play some Fortnite with him, and also Mark D with a C later tonight. So if you follow me on Twitter, you will see where I'm. Come join us for a lot of fun and frivolity tonight. We'll have a good old time. And Pat, this is where I'm counting down for 4 seconds because I got to get to that 90-minute mark. There we go, Pat.
Okay.
Thank you. It's an obsessive compulsive thing I got. Everybody, good night and have a good one. Bye, all.
See y'all later. Bye.